Have you ever wondered how it all began? Not with a big bang, but with a whisper in the dark. Welcome to our journey, back to the very first dawn, to the heart of ancient Egypt, where the story of creation unfolds not from the stars, but from an endless, silent ocean. Imagine a time before time, a place of complete darkness and stillness. This wasn't emptiness, but a primordial watery abyss, a cosmic ocean called none. Everything that was, is, and ever will be lay dormant within these deep, mysterious waters. There were no gods, no people, no earth, no sky. Just potential, waiting for a spark. Then, without warning, something stirs. A single thought, a flicker of consciousness awakens within the infinite abyss. From the dark waters of none, a lone mound of earth, the first solid ground in existence, slowly rises. This is the Benben, the primordial hill, the very first piece of our world. And upon this sacred mound, a figure emerges, bathed in a light of his own making. This is Adam, the complete one, who would later be known as Ra, the great sun god. He is the first god, self-created, born from the sheer will to exist. He looks out at the endless darkness and knows he is alone, but not for long. Adam, standing on the Benben, feels the profound loneliness of a universe yet to be born. In a powerful act of creation, born not from clay or dust, but from his very essence, he brings forth the first divine pair. He sneezes, and out comes Shu, the god of the air, the very breath of life. He then spits, and from this emerges Tefnut, the goddess of moisture, the dew and the rain. Air and moisture, the two fundamental elements for life, are now born into the cosmos. The universe takes its first breath. Shu and Tefnut, the children of Adam, embrace in the darkness. Their union is a cosmic dance, and from it, two more powerful deities are born. Geb, the god of the earth, and Nut, the goddess of the sky. At their birth, Geb and Nut are locked in a tight, inseparable embrace. They are so deeply in love that there is no space between them. The world is still a single, unified entity, but life needs space to flourish. Seeing this, their father Shu steps in. In a moment of monumental effort, he pushes his children apart. He lifts Nut high above, her body arching over the world, her feet on one horizon and her hands on the other. She becomes the star-dusted canopy of the heavens, the sky. He presses Geb down, who becomes the firm land beneath our feet, the earth we walk upon. For the first time, there is a space between the earth and the sky. This powerful act of separation is not one of cruelty, but of necessity. It creates the world as we know it, the realm where life can finally begin. And so, the stage is set. The sky arches above, the earth lies below, and the air fills the space between. Ra, the sun god, now has a path to travel. Each day, he would sail his boat across the celestial body of Nut, bringing light and warmth to the earth, to Geb. And each night, he would journey through the underworld to be reborn at dawn. This daily cycle of sunrise and sunset, of light and dark, became the heartbeat of the universe, a promise of renewal and a testament to the gods' creation. This separation of sky and earth wasn't just a physical act. It was a philosophical one. It introduced duality into the universe, light and dark, above and below, male and female. This delicate balance was the foundation of Maat, the ancient Egyptian concept of order, truth, and cosmic harmony. The world was no longer a chaotic abyss, but an ordered system, governed by divine principles. The children of Geb and Nut would go on to shape human destiny. They were Osiris, Isis, Set, and Nephthys, gods who would walk among mortals and whose stories of love, betrayal, and resurrection would define the very soul of ancient Egypt. But that is a story for another time. What began as a silent, watery abyss and now transformed into a vibrant, living cosmos. From the solitary thought of Adam Ra, A whole family of gods had emerged, carving out the world from the raw potential of none. They created the air we breathe, the ground we stand on, and the sky we gaze upon. This beautiful, intricate tale shows us that for the ancient Egyptians, creation wasn't a distant, singular event, but an ongoing process, a daily miracle reenacted with every sunrise. It's a powerful reminder that even from the deepest darkness, the most brilliant light can emerge. The story of Egypt is vast and full of wonder, and we've only just scratched the surface. We're diving deeper to meet the divine family that rules this magnificent world, the pantheon of the Nile. Grab your papyrus scrolls, because you're going to want to take notes on these legendary figures. At the very top, reigning supreme, is Ra, the glorious sun god. Imagine this. Every single morning, Ra begins an epic journey across the sky in his magnificent solar boat called the Manjet. He's not just taking a joyride. He's bringing light, warmth, and life to the entire world. As the sun sets, he switches to his night boat, the Mezektet, to travel through the underworld, battling forces of chaos to ensure the sun can rise again. Ra is the ultimate king of the gods, the source of all creation, and his daily cycle represents the eternal promise of rebirth and renewal. He's often depicted with a falcon's head, crowned with a shimmering sun disk encircled by a sacred cobra. He is power, light, and order, all rolled into one. Now, let's turn our attention to one of the most famous and dramatic families in all of mythology, the Osirian family. This story has it all: love, jealousy, betrayal, and ultimate triumph. At the heart of it is Osiris, a wise and benevolent ruler credited with bringing civilization to Egypt. He taught humanity how to farm, how to establish laws, and how to worship the gods. He was the embodiment of order, fertility, and the life-giving Nile itself. He was, in every sense, the perfect king. By his side was his devoted and powerful wife, Isis. Isis is one of the most revered goddesses in the entire pantheon. She is the goddess of magic, motherhood, and healing. A master of potent spells and sacred rituals, she was known as Great of Magic, but her greatest role was as the ultimate protector of her family. Her love for Osiris was legendary, and she was the model of the perfect wife and mother, fiercely loyal and endlessly resourceful. Together, Osiris and Isis represented a golden age of peace and prosperity. But where there is light, there must also be shadow. And that shadow was cast by Osiris's own brother, Set. Set is the god of chaos, deserts, storms, and all things that threaten the stability of Egypt. He represents the untamed, unpredictable forces of nature. While Osiris brought order, Set brought disruption. He was consumed by jealousy of his brother's power and the love he commanded. This envy festered, growing into a dark plot that would shatter the peace of the heavens and change the fate of gods and mortals forever. Rounding out this complex family is Set's wife, Nephthys. Her story is often intertwined with her more famous sister, Isis. While married to the chaotic Set, her heart was often in a different place. She is a mysterious goddess, associated with mourning, night, and the protective rites of the dead. Though she was Set's consort, she sympathized with Osiris and Isis, and she would play a crucial, if complicated, role in the events to come. Her loyalty was torn, making her a fascinating figure of quiet strength and hidden compassion in this divine drama. The tragic conflict between these brothers sets the stage for the rise of one of Egypt's most iconic gods, Horus. After the betrayal of Osiris by Set's story, we will explore in full detail later Horus, the son of Osiris and Isis, is born. Often depicted as a majestic falcon or a man with a falcon's head, Horus embodies kingship, divine right, and the sky. His entire existence is driven by one singular purpose: to avenge his father and reclaim the throne of Egypt from his treacherous uncle Set. His epic struggle against Set is a cornerstone of Egyptian mythology, symbolizing the eternal battle between order and chaos, good and evil. The pharaohs of Egypt saw themselves as the living embodiment of Horus, the rightful heir ruling on earth. But battles aren't won with strength alone. They require wisdom, and that's where Thoth comes in. Thoth is the god of knowledge, writing, wisdom, and the moon. He is usually shown with the head of an ibis, a bird the Egyptians saw as sacred. Thoth was the scribe of the gods, the master of hieroglyphs, and the keeper of all sacred and magical texts. It was said he invented writing to preserve knowledge and resolve disputes. In the great conflict between Horus and Set, Thoth acted as a wise judge and a mediator, ensuring that cosmic balance, or Mat, was ultimately upheld. He was the divine intellect, the voice of reason in a world often torn by passion and conflict. Finally, as we journey from the world of the living to the afterlife, we meet a solemn and vital guide, Anubis. With the distinctive head of a jackal, Anubis is the god of mummification and the afterlife. Why a jackal? Because these animals were often seen prowling the edges of cemeteries, and the Egyptians believed they were guarding the dead. Anubis oversees the sacred and intricate process of embalming, ensuring the body is perfectly preserved for its journey to the next world. He is also the one who guides the souls of the deceased into the Hall of Two Truths, where their hearts are weighed against the feather of Mat. He is a comforting and protective figure, a guardian who ensures a safe passage from this life to the eternal one. From the sun god Ra's daily voyage to the family drama of Osiris and the epic battle of Horus and Set, these deities are more than just characters in ancient stories. They represent the core values, fears, and hopes of an entire civilization, the eternal struggle between order and chaos, life and death, and the unwavering belief in justice and rebirth. Their tales are woven into the very fabric of the pyramids, temples, and tombs that still stand today, into the heart of ancient Egyptian mythology. In our last episode, we explored the creation of the cosmos and the birth of the gods. Today, we delve into what is perhaps the most central and poignant story in all of Egyptian lore, the great betrayal and the murder of the benevolent king, Osiris. This is a tale of love, jealousy, and a quest for justice that shaped the very soul of ancient Egypt. Imagine a golden age. Egypt is flourishing, not as a wild land, but as a cradle of civilization. And at its head is Osiris, a king unlike any other. He wasn't a tyrant who ruled through fear. He was a teacher, a guide. He walked among humanity, showing them how to cultivate the land, how to sow seeds and reap harvests. He gave them laws, not to restrict them, but to create a just and orderly society where everyone could prosper. Under his reign, Egypt became a paradise, a reflection of the divine order, or Ma'at, on earth. His people adored him, and his queen, the powerful and devoted Isis, ruled by his side. They were the perfect couple, embodying harmony and righteous leadership. But as is often the case, where there is great light, a dark shadow is never far behind. This shadow was cast by Osiris's own brother Set. While Osiris represented order, cultivation, and life, Set was the embodiment of chaos, the harsh desert, and untamed violence. He watched his brother's success, saw the love and adoration of the people, and a bitter seed of jealousy began to sprout in his heart. Why should Osiris have everything? Why should he be the one to rule? This envy festered, twisting into a dark and consuming ambition. Set no longer just wanted what his brother had. He wanted to destroy him and take it for himself. He began to plot, his mind a storm of dark schemes, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. That moment came during a magnificent feast, a grand celebration held by Osiris for the gods and nobles of Egypt. It was a joyous occasion, filled with music, food, and laughter. But amidst the revelry, Set unveiled his treacherous plan. He presented a stunningly beautiful chest, exquisitely crafted from the finest wood and adorned with gold and precious stones. He declared, with a sly smile, that this magnificent sarcophagus would be a gift to whoever could fit inside it perfectly. One by one, the guests tried, but each was either too tall, too short, too wide, or too narrow. It seemed an impossible game. Then Osiris, good-natured and suspecting nothing, decided to try his luck. He was, after all, the host, and it was all in good fun. As he lay down inside the chest, the onlookers marveled. It was a perfect fit, as if the chest had been crafted specifically for him. And in a horrifying sense, it had been. Before Osiris could even react, Set slammed the heavy lid shut. His conspirators rushed forward, sealing the chest with nails and pouring molten lead into the cracks, ensuring there was no escape. The joyous music of the feast turned into screams of horror. The benevolent king was trapped, his pleas for help silenced by the wood and metal. Set and his followers then lifted the chest, carried it to the banks of the Nile, and hurled it into the swirling waters. The river that gave life to Egypt now became the instrument of its king's demise, carrying the murdered Osiris away on its current. With Osiris gone, a dark age descended upon Egypt. Set seized the throne, his rule marked by chaos, violence, and tyranny. The order and justice that Osiris had so carefully built began to crumble. The land mourned its lost king, and the people suffered under the harsh reign of the usurper. But one heart refused to accept this fate. Isis, the queen, the wife, the goddess of magic and motherhood, was shattered by grief. But her sorrow quickly forged itself into an unbreakable resolve. She would not let her husband's memory be erased. She would not allow him to be denied a proper burial, a rite essential for passage into the afterlife. And so began the great search. Disguising herself as a humble mourner, the most powerful goddess in Egypt set out on an epic quest. She traveled the length and breadth of the land, her heart aching but her spirit unyielding. She followed the course of the Nile, questioning everyone she met, fishermen, children, even the wild spirits of nature. She searched every marsh, every tributary, every bend in the great river. Her journey was a testament to unwavering love and devotion. She was not just searching for a body. She was searching for hope, for a chance to restore balance, for a way to honor the king who had given so much to the world. Her search would lead her far from the shores of Egypt and into a series of trials that would test her magic and her will to their very limits. What did she discover? Where did the Nile carry the body of her beloved Osiris? The answers to those questions are a story of magic, rebirth, and the ultimate triumph of life over death. The righteous king Osiris was tragically betrayed by his jealous brother, Set, and sealed within a magnificent chest. But this is far from the end of his story. Today, we follow the heartbroken but determined Queen Isis on her desperate quest to find her beloved husband. After Set cast the chest into the Nile, the currents carried it far away, eventually washing it ashore in the distant land of Byblus. There, a magnificent tamarisk tree grew around it, encasing the chest and the fallen king within its trunk. The local king, marveling at the tree's size and fragrance, had it cut down and made into a grand pillar for his palace, completely unaware of the divine secret it held. Meanwhile, a distraught Isis, her heart shattered, began a frantic search. Guided by her intuition and snippets of information from those who had seen the chest floating down the river, her journey was long and arduous. She wandered across the lands, her sorrow palpable to all she met. Her quest finally led her to the shores of Byblus. Disguising herself as an ordinary woman, she sat by a well, a picture of profound grief. Soon, the handmaidens of the queen of Byblus came to draw water. Isis, with her divine grace, braided their hair and perfumed them with her own ambrosial scent. When the handmaidens returned to the palace, the queen was captivated by the heavenly fragrance and immediately summoned the mysterious stranger. Isis quickly earned the queen's trust and was appointed as the nurse to the infant prince. But Isis was more than a mere nurse. Each night, she would secretly place the baby in a purifying fire, intending to burn away his mortal parts and grant him immortality. One night, the queen, driven by a mother's curiosity, spied on Isis and saw her child in the flames. She screamed in terror, breaking the spell and sealing her son's fate as immortal. At that moment, Isis revealed her true divine form. She explained her quest and the reason for her actions. Overcome with awe and remorse, the king and queen of Byblus offered her anything she desired. Isis asked for only one thing: the grand pillar that stood in their hall. They granted her request, and she carefully cut away the wood of the tamarisk tree, revealing the chest that held her husband's body. She entrusted the sacred wood to the king and queen, and it became an object of worship in Byblus for generations. Clutching the coffin, Isis finally set sail back to Egypt. Upon her return, she hid the body in the dense papyrus marshes of the Nile Delta, a place she thought would be safe from Set's watchful eyes. But fate, it seems, has a cruel sense of irony. One night, Set was out hunting by the light of the full moon. The moonlight, which was sacred to Osiris, seemed to guide Set's steps, leading him directly to the hidden chest. In a fit of uncontrollable rage and a desire to ensure Osiris could never be properly buried or resurrected, Set tore open the coffin. He dismembered his brother's body into 14 pieces, and in a final act of desecration, scattered them far and wide across the entire land of Egypt, from a northern swamp to a southern cataract. He believed that by doing this, Osiris would be lost to the world forever, his very being erased from existence. When Isis discovered what Set had done, her grief turned into a new, unyielding resolve. Her initial quest to find a single chest was now a far more daunting task: to find every single piece of her scattered husband. She was not alone in this heart-wrenching endeavor. Her loyal sister Nephthys, who was also Set's wife but remained devoted to Osiris and Isis, joined her side. The two sisters transformed into birds' kites. To be precise, their mournful cries echoing across the land as they soared high above, their sharp eyes scanning every inch of Egypt. They searched tirelessly, traversing the length and breadth of the kingdom. They scoured the riverbanks, combed through the deserts, and delved into the darkest corners of the land. It was a monumental and painstaking effort, fueled by love and a refusal to surrender to despair. Legend says that wherever they found a piece of Osiris, Isis would establish a temple to honor him, creating sacred sites all over Egypt. One by one, they gathered the scattered remains. They found his arms, his legs, his torso, 13 pieces in total. The final 14th piece, however, had been thrown into the Nile and devoured by a fish. It was lost to them forever. But even this could not stop the powerful goddess of magic. With the 13 pieces she had recovered, Isis, aided by Nephthys and the wise god Thoth, began the sacred process of reassembly. Using her profound knowledge of magic and healing, along with strips of linen, she meticulously bound the pieces of Osiris back together. In doing so, she created the very first mummy, establishing the funerary rites and the practice of mummification that would become central to Egyptian beliefs about the afterlife. Now, with Osiris's body made whole once more, Isis performed her greatest act of magic. She breathed life back into his form, but it was a temporary resurrection, a fleeting moment stolen from the clutches of death. In this brief, magical reunion, Isis conceived a child, an heir to Osiris's throne. This child would be Horus, destined to become the avenger of his father. His purpose in the world of the living fulfilled, Osiris could not remain. His journey was not over. It was simply changing course. He descended into the Duat, the Egyptian underworld. But he did not go as a mere spirit. He went as a king. Having conquered death, he became the eternal ruler of the underworld, the just judge of all souls who came after him, and the symbol of resurrection and eternal life. His kingdom was not of the living world, but of the great beyond. And so, as one king descends to rule the night, a new one is conceived to one day rule the day. The widowed Isis, now pregnant with a son who carried the hope of all Egypt, retreated back into the seclusion of the papyrus swamps. She had to protect her unborn child from the wrath of Set, who would surely seek to destroy him. The stage is now set for a new chapter in this divine drama, the birth of the falcon god, Horus, and his inevitable, epic confrontation with his uncle, Set. But that is a story for our next episode. The story of Isis's devotion and Osiris's rebirth is one of the most powerful and enduring myths of all time. Final journey into the ancient Egyptian afterlife. We've navigated the treacherous paths of the Do-It, faced monstrous demons, and stood for judgment in the Hall of Two Truths. Now, for the worthy soul, the ultimate reward awaits. This is the story of Aru, the Field of Reeds. Imagine a place that is everything you ever loved about life, but perfected. That was the ancient Egyptian vision of paradise. After successfully passing the weighing of the heart, the soul, now declared true of voice, was guided by gods like Horus or Thoth toward the final destination. This wasn't just an end to a perilous journey. It was the beginning of an eternal, blissful existence. The Field of Reeds, or Sekhet Aru in the ancient tongue, was conceived as an idealized reflection of the Nile Valley. Think of the most fertile, lush, and vibrant version of Egypt imaginable. The sun always shines, the crops are always bountiful, and the rivers flow with cool, sweet water. It's a land of eternal spring, free from sickness, pain, and sorrow. The very air hums with peace and contentment. But this paradise wasn't a place of idle rest, at least not in the way we might think. The Egyptians were a practical and industrious people, and their afterlife reflected that. The Field of Reeds was a place of joyful activity. The deceased would find a perfect plot of land waiting for them, ready to be cultivated. They would plow the fields, sow seeds, and harvest grain, but with a divine ease. The barley and wheat grew to incredible heights, sometimes as tall as a person. The labor wasn't a chore. It was a fulfilling, divine act that ensured eternal sustenance and abundance. The deceased weren't alone in this paradise. They would be reunited with loved ones who had also passed the judgment. Imagine the joy of seeing your parents, your spouse, your children, and your friends again, all in a perfect, timeless setting. They could spend eternity together, feasting, playing games like Senet, and sailing on the tranquil waters. This reunion was a cornerstone of the Egyptian belief in the afterlife, that family bonds were so strong, not even death could truly sever them. Moreover, the Field of Reeds was the dwelling place of the gods. The worthy soul didn't just live near the gods. They lived among them. They could converse with Osiris, the lord of the afterlife, and join Ra in his solar bark as it sailed across the sky each day. This proximity to the divine was the ultimate honor. The deceased became a blessed spirit, an Ak, integrated into the cosmic order and participating in the eternal cycles of creation and rebirth. They were part of the divine fabric of the universe. To aid in the agricultural tasks of paradise, the Egyptians had a clever solution: the Shabdi. These were small mummiform figurines placed in the tomb with the deceased. Inscribed with a special spell from the Book of the Dead, these magical servants would come to life in the Field of Reeds whenever the deceased was called upon to perform labor. If Osiris called out your name to plow a field or irrigate a canal, you would simply say, "O Shabdi, do this task for me." The Shabdi would answer, "Here I am," and perform the work on your behalf. This left the deceased free to enjoy the more leisurely aspects of paradise. Wealthy Egyptians were often buried with 365 Shabdis one for every day of the year, plus overseers to manage them. The landscape of Aru was described in beautiful detail in the funerary texts. It was a series of islands, reached by a magical boat. There were celestial cities with walls of jasper and gates guarded by friendly spirits. The trees were always laden with fruit, the waters teemed with fish, and the air was filled with the scent of lotus blossoms. It was a sensory paradise, designed to provide every possible pleasure and comfort. It was a place where all the good things of earthly life were preserved and amplified for all time. This vision of the field of reeds tells us so much about ancient Egyptian values. It highlights their deep connection to the land, their love of family, and their reverence for cosmic order, or Mat. Paradise wasn't some abstract, ethereal plane. It was a tangible, perfect version of the world they knew and loved. It was a life of purpose, community, and divine harmony. It was the ultimate affirmation that a life lived in balance and righteousness would be rewarded with an eternity of peace and plenty. And so, our long saga through the Egyptian underworld concludes not in darkness, but in a field of golden light. From the moment of death to the final arrival in Aru, the journey was a testament to the human desire for justice, meaning, and a continuation of life beyond the mortal coil. The field of reeds was the ultimate promise that after the trials and tribulations, there is a place of eternal light, eternal peace, and eternal joy waiting. Through the Egyptian afterlife, it's been an honor to explore these ancient beliefs with you. The tragic betrayal of Osiris and the courageous efforts of Isis to bring him back from the dead, just long enough to conceive their son, Horus. Today, the story reaches its climax. This is part 5, the great contest between Horus and Set. Hidden away in the papyrus swamps of the Nile Delta, under the watchful and protective eye of his mother, Isis, Horus grew from a vulnerable child into a powerful young god. His childhood was anything but ordinary. He wasn't just learning to hunt or play. He was being forged into a weapon, a symbol of justice. Every story his mother told him, every lesson she taught, was infused with a single, burning purpose: to avenge the murder of his father, Osiris, and to reclaim the throne of Egypt that was stolen by his treacherous uncle Set. This wasn't just a personal vendetta. It was his divine destiny. The fate of the entire kingdom rested on his shoulders. When Horus finally reached manhood, he stepped out of the shadows of the marshlands and strode into the grand hall of the gods. There, before the divine tribunal led by the sun god Ra, he made his claim. He declared himself the one true heir to the throne of Egypt, demanding that Set relinquish the crown. Set, the god of chaos and storms, a being of immense power and arrogance, just laughed. He saw Horus not as a rightful king, but as an impudent child. He would not give up his power without a fight. And so began one of the most legendary conflicts in all of mythology, the great contest between Horus and Set. This wasn't a single battle. It was an 80-year war of attrition, a grueling marathon of strength, wit, and divine power that would test both gods to their absolute limits. The contests were a spectacular display of divine might. They weren't just simple brawls. They were elaborate, often bizarre, and always dangerous challenges. In one famous episode, they transformed themselves into massive hippopotamuses and engaged in a fierce underwater battle, trying to hold their breath longer than the other. Isis, ever the protective mother, intervened by trying to harpoon Set, but her compassion got the better of her, and she hesitated, allowing Set to escape and infuriating Horus, who felt his mother's momentary weakness, cost him the victory. This led to a brief but intense conflict between mother and son, showing just how high the tensions were running. The trials were as much about cunning and deception as they were about raw power. Set, true to his nature as a god of chaos, rarely played fair. He was a master of trickery. In another contest, they agreed to a boat race. But these were no ordinary boats. They were to build ships made of stone. Horus, knowing he couldn't beat Set in a contest of pure strength, used his intelligence. He built his boat from pine wood, but covered it with a thin layer of plaster, making it look exactly like granite. When the race began, Set's heavy stone boat immediately sank to the bottom of the Nile. Enraged at being outsmarted, Set transformed himself into a hippopotamus and attacked Horus's boat, shattering it to pieces. The contest was declared a draw, and their feud only deepened. The battles were brutal and took a heavy toll on both gods. The violence escalated, and in one of their most vicious encounters, Set managed to tear out Horus's left eye. This wasn't just a physical injury, it was a cosmic one. Horus's left eye was associated with the moon. Its loss plunged the night sky into darkness. Thankfully, the eye was later magically restored by the wise god Thoth. This healed eye became a powerful symbol in its own right, the Wajet, or the Eye of Horus, an enduring emblem of protection, healing, and restoration that is still recognized all over the world today. But Horus inflicted his own lasting wound upon Set, injuring him in a way that symbolized a loss of his masculine strength and virility, a deep humiliation for the powerful god. For 80 long years, the struggle raged on. Victory swung back and forth like a pendulum. Sometimes Horus would gain the upper hand through cleverness. Other times Set would win through brute force or deceit. The other gods, the Ennead, served as judges, but they were divided. Some, like the sun god Ra, initially favored Set, believing his raw strength made him a more suitable ruler to defend the cosmos from its enemies. Others supported Horus, arguing that the throne was his by right of inheritance. The divine court was deadlocked, and the world of mortals hung in the balance, caught between the forces of order and chaos. The endless conflict was destabilizing the very fabric of creation. Finally, after decades of indecision, the gods decided to seek a final binding judgment. They wrote a letter to the wise and just Osiris, now the undisputed king of the underworld, asking for his opinion. Osiris's reply from the land of the dead was swift and unequivocal. He was furious that his son had been denied his birthright for so long. He asked the gods a simple, piercing question. Should a throne be given to a murderer when the victim's own son still lives? He then issued a stark warning. If they did not place Horus on the throne, he would unleash the fearsome demons of the underworld upon the land of the living, a threat no one could ignore. Faced with this ultimatum from the Lord of the Dead, the divine tribunal had no choice. The scales of justice finally tipped. They declared Horus the victor. Set was officially defeated and forced to accept the judgment. Horus, the avenging son, the rightful heir, was crowned the undisputed king of all Egypt. The crown of Upper and Lower Egypt was placed upon his head, symbolizing the reunification of the land under its true and just ruler. The long war was over. Order had triumphed. But what of Set? Was he destroyed? No. In the sophisticated worldview of the ancient Egyptians, chaos could never be completely eliminated. It was a fundamental and necessary part of existence, a force that challenged order and prompted growth. So Set was not banished. Instead, he was given a new role. He was charged with protecting the sun god Re on his nightly journey through the dangerous underworld, using his fearsome strength to fight off the monstrous serpent Apep, the ultimate embodiment of cosmic annihilation. In this way, the god of chaos was integrated back into the divine order, his destructive power repurposed for a protective, cosmic function. The epic struggle between Horus and Set is more than just a thrilling story of family drama and divine battles. It's a foundational myth that explains the very nature of the universe as the ancient Egyptians saw it. It is the eternal battle between *Mat* and *Isfet*. *Mat* represents order, truth, justice, and cosmic balance, everything Horus fought for. *Isfet* represents chaos, violence, injustice, and falsehood, the very essence of Set's actions. The victory of Horus symbolizes the triumph of order over chaos, the establishment of divine law, and the rightful succession of kingship. This myth had profound implications for Egyptian society. It established the divine template for kingship. Every pharaoh who ruled Egypt from the earliest dynasties to the time of Cleopatra, was not just a king. He was considered the living incarnation of Horus on earth. When a pharaoh sat on the throne, he was Horus, maintaining asterisk, mat asterisk, and keeping the forces of asterisk, isfit asterisk at bay. And when he died, he would become Osiris, ruling over the underworld, while his son, the new pharaoh, would become the new Horus. This cycle of succession, mirroring the myth, provided a powerful sense of stability and divine legitimacy to the pharaoh's rule for over 3,000 years. The story of Horus and Set was not just a myth. It was the political and religious bedrock of one of the world's greatest ancient civilizations. And there you have it, the epic conclusion to the saga of Osiris, Isis, Horus, and Set. A story of love, betrayal, sacrifice, and ultimate justice that shaped a civilization. We delve into one of the most fundamental and epic tales of all, the daily, perilous journey of the sun god, Ra. This isn't just a story about the sun rising and setting. It's the cosmic heartbeat of the ancient Egyptian universe, a tale of order, chaos, and eternal renewal. Imagine the sky as a vast celestial Nile. Every single morning, at the crack of dawn, Ra, the creator god, the king of deities, embarks on his magnificent solar barge, known as the Manjet, or the boat of a million years. He isn't just a passenger. He is the sun itself. As his boat glides gracefully across the azure canvas of the sky, his divine light bathes the land of Egypt, chasing away the shadows, warming the earth, and coaxing life from the fertile soil along the Nile. This daily voyage is the ultimate symbol of life, light, and unwavering order. The Egyptians saw this journey not as a given, but as a divine act of grace performed for them each day. From the bustling cities to the quietest desert oases, every living thing thrived under his benevolent gaze. He was the source of all warmth, all growth, all life. This daytime journey was a glorious, visible testament to the power and stability of the gods. But the real drama, the true test of cosmic endurance, begins when the sun dips below the western horizon. As twilight paints the sky in hues of orange and purple, Ra's journey is far from over. He doesn't rest. Instead, he swaps the Manjet boat for his night barge, the Mezektet, and prepares to enter a realm of profound danger and absolute chaos, the Duat, the Egyptian underworld. This isn't the tranquil afterlife many might imagine. The Duat is a complex, treacherous landscape of 12 regions, or hours, each filled with terrifying demons, fiery lakes, and enigmatic gods. For Ra, this nightly passage is not a peaceful descent. It is a battle for the very existence of the world. As he travels through the Duat, his form changes. He becomes a ram-headed figure, representing his aged, nocturnal self, merging with Osiris, the god of the dead, to become a symbol of both death and resurrection. His light, which brought life to the world above, now brings a fleeting moment of solace and sustenance to the blessed dead who reside in the underworld. They awaken to greet him, living again for the brief hour he passes through their domain, before he must move on, leaving them once more in darkness. This journey through the 12 hours of the night is a countdown, a race against an eternal, malevolent force. Residing in the deepest, darkest part of the Duat is Ra's ultimate adversary, the embodiment of primordial chaos, Apophis. Apophis is not a god. He is an uncreator, a force of pure entropy. Depicted as a colossal serpent, his only desire is to swallow the sunboat and plunge the universe back into the eternal darkness and nothingness from which it came. The battle between Ra and Apophis is the central conflict of the Egyptian cosmos, replayed every single night. It's a fight that can never be truly won, only survived, night after night. As Ra's boat sails through the darkness, Apophis attacks. He tries to halt the barge with his immense coils or mesmerize the crew with his hypnotic stare. But Ra is not alone on his perilous voyage. He is accompanied by a powerful retinue of gods who act as his divine bodyguards. Seth, the god of storms and strength, often stands at the prow of the boat, his spear ready to repel the great serpent. Other deities like Isis, with her powerful magic, and Thoth, with his wisdom, use their spells and might to help navigate the dangers and fight off Apophis's demonic minions. The climax of this nightly struggle occurs in the 7th hour, the deepest point of the underworld. Here, the battle rages with its greatest intensity. The clash is monumental. The spells of Isis clash with the chaotic roars of the serpent. The strength of Seth is pitted against the crushing force of Apophis's coils. The entire cosmos holds its breath. The Egyptians believed that the outcome of this battle was never guaranteed. An eclipse, for instance, was thought to be a moment when Apophis was temporarily succeeding in swallowing the sunboat. They would perform rituals and chant spells from the Book of Overthrowing Apophis to lend their divine protector strength and ensure Rhea's victory. The fate of the world, quite literally, hung in the balance every single night. The struggle is immense, but through the combined power of the gods, their magic, and their sheer determination, Apophis is always, eventually, defeated. He is speared, bound, and cut to pieces, his chaotic power subdued just enough for Ra to pass. But Apophis can never be truly destroyed. He is an eternal aspect of the universe, and he will reform in the darkness to challenge Ra again the next night. Having survived the ultimate trial, Ra's journey continues through the remaining hours of the Duat. As he nears the eastern horizon, a miraculous transformation occurs. In the 12th hour, Ra enters the body of the sky goddess Nut and is reborn from her as a young child. The sun god Khepri, often depicted as a scarab beetle pushing the sun disk. This sacred beetle, which rolls a ball of dung from which its young emerge, was the perfect symbol of spontaneous creation and rebirth for the Egyptians. The aged, weary god who entered the underworld has been rejuvenated. He is young, vibrant, and full of new life. As Khepri, he pushes the newborn sun into the morning sky, and a new day dawns. The light returns, life is affirmed, and the cosmic order, or mat, is restored. The world is safe for another day. This cyclical journey of death and rebirth was profoundly important. It wasn't just an explanation for day and night. It was a promise. It showed that even after facing the deepest darkness and the most terrifying chaos, light and life could be reborn. It offered hope for the dead who wished to be rejuvenated like Ra, and it provided a sense of stability and divine order for the living. The daily rising of the sun was a victory celebration, a sign that the gods had once again triumphed over the forces of dissolution, ensuring the continuation of the world. And so, the journey of Ra is the ultimate story of perseverance, a daily struggle against overwhelming odds, a testament to the eternal conflict between order and chaos, light and darkness. It's a powerful reminder that every sunrise is a victory, a rebirth earned through a heroic battle, fought just beyond our sight. What an incredible concept, right? The very fabric of reality, hanging by the thread of a nightly celestial battle. The soul's epic journey into the afterlife. For the ancient Egyptians, life on earth was just a prelude. The real adventure began after death, and it was a journey for which every single person, from the pharaoh to the farmer, spent their entire lives preparing. Imagine a world where your ultimate goal isn't just success in this life, but ensuring your eternal existence in the next. This belief was the bedrock of their society, shaping their art, architecture, and daily rituals. So, how did they prepare for this grand voyage beyond the veil? It all started with the body. The Egyptians believed the soul needed a physical anchor to return to, a familiar home in the afterlife. This is where the intricate process of mummification comes in. It wasn't just about preservation. It was about creating an eternal vessel for the spirit. The body, known as the Kat asterisk, was meticulously dried, treated with resins, and wrapped in hundreds of yards of linen. Organs were carefully removed and placed in special containers, called canopic jars, each protected by a different god. This wasn't a morbid obsession with the dead, but a profound act of love and faith, ensuring the deceased had a complete form for eternity. The mummy was more than a preserved corpse. It was a divine statue, a house for the soul, ready for its next chapter. But a preserved body was just the first step. The soul, now separated from its physical form, needed to be reawakened. This is where a truly extraordinary ritual took place, the opening of the mouth ceremony. Picture this. The mummy is propped upright outside the tomb. A priest, often wearing the mask of the jackal-headed god Anubis, touches the mummy's mouth, eyes, nose, and ears with special ceremonial tools, like an adze shaped like a fishtail. Through powerful incantations, he magically reanimates the senses. The deceased could now speak, see, hear, and eat and drink again in the spiritual realm. It was the crucial moment of transition, the flick of a switch that powered up the soul for its journey. Without this ceremony, the soul would be trapped, a silent prisoner in its own eternal body. With its senses restored, the soul was now ready to embark on its perilous trek through the underworld, known as the Asterisk Duat Asterisk. This wasn't a peaceful stroll. The Asterisk Duat Asterisk was a treacherous landscape filled with fiery lakes, terrifying demons, and cunning serpents, all determined to devour the unprepared soul. To navigate this dangerous realm, the deceased needed a guide and a map. The ultimate guide was the god Anubis, the master of embalming and the guardian of the dead. He would lead the soul towards its final destination. And the map? That was the Book of the Dead. This wasn't a single book, but a collection of magical spells, hymns, and passwords, inscribed on papyrus scrolls and placed within the coffin. Each spell was a key, designed to overcome a specific obstacle. There were spells to ward off crocodiles, to prevent one's head from being severed, and even to remember one's own name, which was vital for preserving identity. The Book of the Dead was the soul's GPS, its shield, and its weapon, an indispensable tool for survival in a world designed to test its worthiness. The journey was a race against oblivion, a high-stakes adventure where every step was fraught with danger. After successfully navigating the terrifying trials of the Asterisk Duat Asterisk with the help of Anubis and the Book of the Dead, the soul finally arrived at the most critical moment of its entire existence, the Hall of Final Judgment. Here, in this vast, divine courtroom, the soul would face the ultimate test before the great god Osiris, Lord of the Underworld, and a tribunal of 42 divine judges. This was the moment of truth, the weighing of a lifetime's actions. At the center of the hall stood a magnificent golden scale. The god Anubis would gently take the heart of the deceased, which the Egyptians believed was the seat of intelligence, emotion, and conscience, and place it on one side of the scale. On the other side, he would place a single, pure white feather, the feather of Maat. Maat was the goddess of truth, justice, and cosmic order. This was the weighing of the heart ceremony. The soul would then make a negative confession, declaring to each of the 42 judges a sin they had not committed. I have not stolen. I have not lied. I have not caused pain. The balance would then reveal the soul's fate. If the heart, heavy with sin, outweighed the feather, a terrifying creature awaited. Part crocodile, part lion, and part hippopotamus, the demon Ammit, the devourer of the dead, would lunge forward and consume the heart. This was the ultimate horror for an Egyptian. Not a fiery hell, but complete and total annihilation, to cease to exist forever. But if the heart was light and pure, balancing perfectly with the feather of Maat, a cry of true voice would echo through the hall. The gods would be satisfied. The soul had been vindicated. Osiris would then welcome the deceased into the field of reeds, or asterisk Aru asterisk. This was the Egyptian paradise, a perfect, idealized version of the Nile Valley, with lush fields, abundant harvests, and flowing waters. Here, the soul would be reunited with loved ones who had passed before and live for all eternity in blissful peace and abundance. This was the ultimate reward, the successful completion of a journey that began at birth and culminated in this final, glorious judgment. It was a belief system of incredible complexity and profound hope, one that gave meaning to life and comfort in the face of death. Arriving at the most crucial moment in a soul's journey to the afterlife, the final judgment, often called the weighing of the heart. This is part 8, where everything the deceased has ever done is put to the ultimate test. Imagine a vast, sacred chamber deep within the underworld, the Hall of Two Truths. Here, the deceased soul, having navigated the perilous paths of the Duat, stands before the great god Osiris, the Lord of the Dead, seated on his magnificent throne. Flanking him are 42 divine judges, each representing a nome, or province of ancient Egypt, and each ready to hear the soul's plea. This isn't a trial of accusations, but a moment of personal declaration. Before this divine assembly, the soul must perform the negative confession. This is a powerful ritual where the deceased addresses each of the 42 judges by name and declares their innocence of a specific sin. I have not committed sin, they might begin. I have not committed robbery with violence. I have not stolen. I have not slain men and women. I have not lied. I have not been angry without just cause. It's a comprehensive moral checklist, covering everything from theft and murder to disrespecting the gods and polluting the sacred Nile. The goal is to present oneself as a person who lived a life of balance, order, and righteousness, a life in harmony with Maat. Once the confession is complete, the main event begins. Anubis, the jackal-headed god of embalming and the guide of souls, leads the deceased to a great golden balance. On one side of this scale, he places the heart of the deceased, the Ib. The ancient Egyptians believed the heart was the seat of intelligence, emotion, and conscience, the very record of one's life. It wasn't just a muscle. It was the essence of your character, the witness to all your thoughts and deeds. On the other side of the scale, Anubis places a single, pure white ostrich feather. This isn't just any feather. It is the feather of Maat. Maat is the goddess of truth, justice, harmony, and cosmic order. Her feather represents the ideal, the perfect standard against which all human actions are measured. The question is simple, yet profound. Is the heart as light and pure as the feather of truth? The tension in the hall would be immense. The god Thoth, the ibis-headed scribe of the gods, stands ready with his palette and reed pen to record the result. Every eye is on the balance. As the scales settle, one of two fates awaits the soul. If the heart is light, free from the weight of wrongdoing and deceit, it will balance perfectly with the feather. This is the moment of triumph. Thoth records the favorable verdict, and the gods declare the soul Ma Karu, meaning true of voice or justified. This declaration is the key to eternity. The soul has proven its worthiness and is now granted passage into the field of reeds, the Egyptian paradise. This was a lush, idealized version of the Nile Valley, where the soul would live forever in blissful abundance, free from sickness, pain, and labor. They would reunite with loved ones and live among the gods, enjoying an eternal, perfect existence. This was the ultimate reward, the goal of every Egyptian's life and death preparations. However, if the heart is heavy, burdened by a life of sin, dishonesty, and chaos, it will tip the scales, weighing more than the delicate feather of Maat. This outcome is not one of punishment in a fiery hell, but something the Egyptians considered far worse, complete and total annihilation. Crouched beside the scales, watching with terrifying anticipation, is a monstrous creature named Ammit, the devourer of souls. Ammit is a terrifying chimera with the head of a crocodile, the torso of a lion, and the hindquarters of a hippopotamus, a combination of the three largest and most feared man-eaters known to the ancient Egyptians. If the heart is found wanting, it is immediately thrown from the scales to the waiting jaws of Ammit. She devours it in an instant. For the soul whose heart is eaten, there is no second chance. There is no purgatory. There is simply ... nothing. This is the ultimate horror in the Egyptian belief system: to cease to exist. The soul is denied an afterlife and is cast into eternal oblivion, its consciousness extinguished forever. This second death was the most terrifying fate imaginable, a complete erasure from the cosmos. The person would not be remembered, their spirit would not continue, and their journey would end in absolute finality. The weighing of the heart was therefore not just a mythological story, it was a powerful moral compass for the living. It taught that every action, every word, and every thought had weight. It encouraged a life lived in accordance with Nada, life of truth, integrity, and consideration for others. The belief that one's eternal destiny depended on the lightness of their heart shaped the ethical framework of an entire civilization for thousands of years. It was a constant reminder that judgment was inevitable and that living a righteous life was the only path to immortality. This powerful scene has resonated through history, influencing concepts of final judgment in many other cultures and religions. It's a timeless story about accountability and the enduring human hope for a just and meaningful existence beyond our mortal